Hey, nice to see you.
Yeah.
So, you'd spoken with us relatively recently about a new feature of uLaw, and I'm curious about what your experiences with uLaw-Gmail integration is. If you could sort of describe what that's been like, I'd love to hear it.
Well, actually, so the first iteration of the Gmail integration was aimed just at clients and client emails,
Mm-hmm.
which was interesting to me. But I do criminal law, and a lot of my clients don't even have a reliable email. But the people who are involved in my matters that do are crowns, support agencies, um, other parties like that, people who aren't necessarily litigants. Some of them are, some of them aren't. And so I actually emailed those guys and said, hey, can you expand your Gmail integration to include any party associated with the matter? Because in uLaw, you can associate, all the different parties with a matter. And they did it very quickly. I think 2 or 3 days, they turned it around so that you could uh, use the Gmail integration to identify a matter that was associated with the sender of any email, and then just quickly docket the time you spent on the email. And for me, that's amazing because, to be honest with you, otherwise I barely capture any of those emails in my docketing. Right, you're just sending one and then another and then another, and then you read three and then you send a fourth one, and you never switch windows, or at least I don't ever switch windows over to uLaw and remember to actually docket those one at a time and to find the right matter. And so I went from not capturing anything in the way of my emails to capturing a whole bunch of them. But there's also a second sort of probably unforeseen consequence is that now I'm really motivated when somebody gets involved in one of my matters to go and add that person in as a party. And so I end up with better records overall, because I think, okay, I want to docket. I need to associate this person, whether it's somebody from the Canadian Mental Health Association that I'm interacting with, or a Crown attorney, or anybody, a third-party witness. I get them I add them to my contacts. I associate them to the matter. I capture the emails, and so overall, it's just, I think, a big improvement to my record keeping.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's really glad to hear that you found it to be. It sounds like record keeping, just in general, is being captured much easier, and it might have not have even been intended. You said that, like, you weren't expecting that to be happening.
No, I saw the feature and made the request, knowing that you could associate these third parties. But honestly, my use of that feature was really hit and miss. Right, I would sometimes have the patience to go in and associate every person that was a part of a matter with that matter, and it's better if I do for things like conflict checks and stuff. It makes the conflict checking more accurate. I have sort of a cheat way I do it where I just throw those names either into the notes or into a docket entry. But this way, it motivates me to sort of complete my record keeping, because it makes my docketing easier, and then hopefully I'll actually get paid for some of the work that I do instead of just chewing through it and forgetting about it and trying to reconstruct it later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to hear that in real time you're capturing elements of, well, actual billable work that you're doing on behalf of clients in a familiar interface that you're obviously used to when interacting with people through email. So I really do
that's
appreciate
it,
that.
right? Is we spend all our time emailing. I mean, sometimes on the Zoom, but we spend all our time emailing, basically back and forth, just trying to, coordinate this with the Crown, coordinate that with the Crown. You email the doctor or the counselor or the surety, and you get some information, and then you turn around and you pass that information on to the Crown or somebody else to try and get to the resolution you want, or the trial coordinator or something like that. And in a normal way hard to capture that activity unless you are disciplined. I am not. Unless you are disciplined at sort of every time you complete a task to go over and open up the matter. And, it's, I mean, if I had one complaint about uLaw is that, because it's web-based, so I often think, oh, I'll docket that later. I don't want to take that sort of 45 seconds it's going to take to open up that matter and add this docket to it. And so I just won't do it. I'll remember to do it later. I never remember to do it later. So this way it's just click, and it's done.
Yeah. So you're capturing things that otherwise would have been lost.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much. That's pretty much it. We're really happy to hear how you've incorporated into your practice. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate it.
No problem. You guys are, I don't know what role you play in it, but this is the second or third time where I've suggested a tweak to the features, and you guys are super responsive. So